January brought skywatchers a super blood wolf moon lunar eclipse. Researchers now have something even rarer from the phenomenon. In what's believed to be the first ever occurrence, astronomers have discovered a meteorite hit the moon during the eclipse, likely leaving a large crater. One astronomer called it a rare alignment of infrequent events. Millions reportedly gazed at the super blood wolf moon lunar eclipse to watch the moon turn reddish hue on January 21st. Some sky gazers noticed the potential impact, and news traveled quickly on Reddit and other social media. It was a dream come true for Spanish astronomer Jose Medito. He's been trying to record a meteor striking the moon for over 10 years. He says it was so exciting, I jumped out of my chair. A new paper submitted in the journal Akhir estimates the meteor weighed between 44 and 220 pounds. It struck the moon at nearly 31,000 miles. There's a huge problem on the Antarctic, and one that could have global consequences. Scientists have discovered a gigantic subterranean hole underneath the world's most important glacier. This has sparked concerns. It's melting faster than anyone realized. The cavity under the glacier is in West Antarctica, stretches 6 miles and is 1,000 feet deep. To put it in perspective, it's about 14 billion tons of melted ice and about 2/3 the size of Manhattan in New York. It also could mean rising sea levels globally, which poses a serious threat to coastal cities around the world. One researcher said the size of the cavity under a glacier plays an important role in melting. As more heat and water get under the glacier, it melts faster. Researchers conducting the study said the cavity is growing at an explosive rate, which took them
now to that
by
dangerous
surprise.
storm on the move right now. Deadly flooding in Tennessee forcing water rescues overnight. Snow and ice causing accidents across the Midwest. Now 32 states are on alert. Alex Perez is in Wilmington, Illinois with more. Good morning, Alex.
Hey, good morning, Robin. I want you to take a look around me here. I'm standing along the banks of the Kankakee River, and you can see icebergs everywhere you look. Almost looks like a glacier that is melting. The deep freeze, followed by a brief warm-up, is creating some major problems. In Tennessee overnight, severe weather turning deadly. One man killed after being swept away by floodwaters. And as heavy rains pound the Nashville area, this morning icy conditions are wreaking havoc across the Midwest.
You can see my car, a lot of ice.
Wrecked vehicles littering highways, drivers unable to keep their cars on the road.
I was not prepared for it. I was hoping it was hyped up.
In Fargo, traffic backed up for miles. Missouri State Police responding to more than 600 accidents in just 24 hours. In Kansas City, watch as this school bus hits slick conditions and then flips over with students on board. Miraculously, no one was seriously injured. From Wilmington, Illinois to Portland, Michigan, massive ice jams prompting evacuations. As that ice breaks up, you can see it inching closer to people's homes, causing flooding and pipes to burst.
It's scary. It was the first time we've really watched it break up.
And beware of ice stepping out of your car. A school principal in Kansas sharing this video of himself falling on ice, warning others to get home safely. And here's the good news. Take a look behind me here. You can see the Kankakee River is once again flowing. People have been allowed to return to their homes, and authorities say there are no reports of any major damage. Michael?
All right, that's all good news, Alex. And that storm is on the move, and we're going to go to Ginger for the latest on where it is heading and when. Good morning, Ginger.
Hey, good morning, Michael. A big part of this is the division between extreme cold and very warm air. You can see this morning we've seen tornado warnings, even severe thunderstorm warnings in the Ozarks. But look at these pictures out of Denver, their biggest snowstorm of the season. Now, that's not saying a ton since they've been so snow-starved, but this morning, Denver public schools are closed. You've got businesses closed, and the temperature is sub-zero, so that snow and ice not going anywhere once it hits the ground because the cold comes right behind it. There are ice storm warnings still in place for Kansas City, flood watches in the same region.
Business Insider recently wrote, the U.S. Census Bureau tracks patterns in marital status by age among Americans, including divorce statistics. In recent years, older Americans are more likely to have been divorced, separated, or in a second or later marriage than in previous decades. Studies even show that younger Americans are more likely to never even have a first marriage. Even though all of this is true, it's just as equally important to know that some people get married and stay together.
CNN reports that the World Health Organization said the number of people infected with measles in the European region during 2018 is the highest in a decade. According to newly released data from the year, 82,596 people were infected, and 72 people, children and adults, died from measles last year. 61% of those infected were hospitalized, according to the report. The number of cases reported is the highest this decade, the WHO said in a statement, noting the numbers are 3 times the total reported in 2017 and 15 times the record low number of people affected in 2016.
The Philippine Department of Health has declared a measles outbreak in parts of Luzon and Visayas. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III said February 7th, the department sees an increasing trend in measles cases in Luzon, including the regions of Ilocos, Cagayan, Central Luzon, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, and Bicol. Eastern and Central Visayas have also been hit by the contagious disease. A measles outbreak in Metro Manila was declared on February 6th. Official records show a sharp increase in measles cases in recent weeks. As of January 26, 441 cases with 5 deaths were recorded in Metro Manila compared to 36 cases last year. Central Visayas recorded 71 cases this year. Last year, it only recorded 2. Health officials earlier warned a possible measles outbreak due to low coverage of immunization. Parents have reportedly been reluctant to have their children vaccinated due to the recent dengue miss.
Conservationists are caring for 2,000 flamingo chicks that were abandoned by their parents in a dried-out dam in South Africa. According to Geek.com, harsh summer heat and a reported lack of water being pumped into the dam caused the water to drop to low levels. It's unclear why this caused the flamingo parents to abandon their chicks. Currently, they're being looked after by the South African Foundation for the Conservation of Coastal Birds in Cape Town. They're being fed a liquefied mixture of sardines, shrimp, eggs, and porridge until they're healthy enough to return to the wild. Kata Ludinya, the research manager at Sancob, told CNN these chicks arrived in a very bad condition since a lot of them were dehydrated. They were tiny, some of them were just coming out of their eggs, so we had a little bit of a problem with infections.
In an Indonesian province, public display of affection could mean pain and public humiliation. That's what happened to a teen couple last week in the conservative state of Aceh after they were caught cuddling in public. The teens, both 18 years old, were jailed for 98 days and later received 17 lashes on their backs by a masked individual while facing a crowd. A government official reportedly said the punishment comes in violation of the Islamic Sharia law. Under the religious law, any intimate or sexual activities outside of marriage, as well as same-sex relationships, are prohibited. Offenders could be both jailed and whipped up to 100 times. Aceh is the only state among 34 provinces in the country which practice such strict laws, which right groups and President Joko Widodo called for an end due to its cruelty. However, the Muslim-dominated state of 5 million people still practices public whippings despite the previous statement that flogging could be done in prison.
According to Reuters.com, the death toll in California's deadliest and most destructive wildfire was revised down by 1 to 85 on Thursday by a sheriff who said that remains initially thought to belong to 2 people turned out to be from the same individual. The fire that claimed this many lives started as a campfire on November 8th, and it incinerated 175 miles of the Sierra foothills.
This is what's left of the Anak Krakatoa after part of it collapsed on December 22, causing waves to crash into the islands of Java and Sumatra. Now it's less than 1/3 of its original size, but scientists say it's still as dangerous. Just weeks after the disaster, these eruptions were caught on camera, and tremors are regularly recorded. Despite that, orders to stay more than 500 meters away from the sea have now been lifted.
If we can't work here, how do I get an income? My children need to go to school and they need to eat. I just hope it won't happen again.
The tsunami hit the tourist heart of West Java badly, and visitors have yet to return.
The rumble of Anak Krakatoa continues while survivors of last month's tsunami are trying to rebuild their lives. Despite warnings of more eruptions and possible more tsunamis, people are now allowed to stay on the beach again. But they're also warned to stay alert.
Scientists say it's hard to predict the behavior of the so-called child of the notorious Krakatoa volcano that erupted so violently in 1883 that its ashes caused extraordinary sunsets worldwide, inspiring Edvard Munch to paint his famous work, The Scream.
For another eruption like the one in 1883 to happen again, the volcano needs a much larger volume, but there is a high probability that an eruption and tsunami like on December 22nd will happen again.
Muhari says the government should have been more alert after scientists had predicted a tsunami a few months earlier. Research dating back to 2012 predicting the collapse of the volcano's flanks was also ignored. Survivors are planning to sue the government for negligence.
The tsunami that happened in the Sunda Strait could have been predicted because of the earthquake dangers in the area and the eruptions of Anak Krakatoa. So the government should have taken preventative measures so there wouldn't be so many victims.
While the case will be taken to court in the next few weeks, Anak Krakatoa is rapidly recovering. Only a few weeks after its collapse, the volcano emerged above sea level again, making it clear that time is running out for the government to repair, install warning systems and take protective measures to prevent another disaster from happening again. Step Vassen, Al Jazeera, Akhir, West Java.
According to a report by CNN, the Venezuelan government led by President Nicolas Maduro has blocked a bridge connecting Venezuela to Colombia, effectively blocking the passage of humanitarian aid called for by Venezuela's opposition. Images reportedly show an orange oil tanker and two large blue containers positioned midway across the three-lane Tienditas Bridge, which connects Cucuta, Colombia with Venezuela. CNN reports that Cucuta is one of 3 collection points for humanitarian aid requested by Venezuela's opposition leader and self-declared President Juan Guaido, amid Venezuela's ongoing socio-economic crisis.
Navy and Marines join in this year's Cobra Gold exercise, an annual multinational military drill held in Thailand. 9 countries, including the U.S., India, China, and Japan, are involved, with 7 other nations like Australia and New Zealand participating as observers. Cobra Gold, jointly hosted by Thai and American forces, aims to boost multinational security commitments in the Asia-Pacific region for mainly humanitarian and peace-related purposes. The exercise kicks off this Saturday and runs for 2 weeks. South Korea was an observer from 2002 to 2009, then became a regular participant from 2010.
A heavy presence of Chinese vessels has been spotted around Pag-asa Island or Titu Island in the West Philippine Sea or South China Sea, a Washington-based think tank said. The Center for Strategic and International Studies Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative said Thursday, February 7th, a mix of fishing boats and naval and coast guard ships from China were spotted, anchored, and operating in the contested area since at least July 2018. It said recent satellite images showed a handful of Chinese vessels in mid-December last year during the peak of construction of defense facilities on the island. As of January 26, 42 Chinese ships were in the area. The Philippines in 2017 began ramping up the construction of defense facilities on the island, which China also claims. Pag-asa is part of the Spratly Island chain, where China, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Taiwan have also fortified islands.
According to Business Insider, Ariana Grande has sparked controversy with her most recent music video for Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored, which dropped alongside Grande's newest album, Thank You, Next. As suggested by the title, the video follows Grande as she covets and flirts with another girl's boyfriend. However, Grande is also seen throughout the video flirting with the girlfriend character. In response, some fans have accused Grande of queer baiting, a practice to entice queer viewers with hints of an LGBTQ character or love story without any meaningful follow-through. While Grande has been an outspoken supporter of the LGBTQ community, many have noted that it's a tried trope and a symptom of privilege to use same-sex attraction purely for shock value. According to CNN, Canada has announced that it will take in 750 refugees from Libya. Canada had already resettled more than 150 people, with another 600 refugees expected to arrive in the next 2 years. 2 years ago, CNN revealed video footage showing migrants being sold into slavery in Libya, some for as little as $400 each. The video caused a national outcry, with the UN condemning the sale of migrants as heinous abuses of human rights. Canada also plans to resettle 100 refugees from Niger, rescued from Libyan migrant detention centers, including victims of human smuggling.
Today is the day that we truly embark on a comprehensive agenda of economic, social, and racial justice in the United States of America. That's what this agenda is all about. Because climate change and our environmental challenges are one of the biggest existential threats to our way of life. Not just as a nation, but as a world. And in order for us to combat that threat, we must be as ambitious and innovative in our solution as possible.
I say today that it is time for us to be bold once again. We have the technology to do it. We have the moral obligation. We have the economic imperative. We just need the political will to get this done. The sun is setting on the dirty energy of the past. Today marks the dawn of a new era.
Philippine health and environment officials have warned the public against swimming in the Manila Bay. In an official statement on Monday, February 4th, the health department said the Manila Bay must still be tested for chemical and physical quality. The department warned waterborne gastrointestinal diseases, as well as skin diseases and eye infections, may be acquired while swimming in polluted bodies of water. A cleanup drive to restore the Manila Bay began on January 27th, and its coliform or E. coli levels had gone down since. However, pollutants in its waters are still way above safe levels. The Environment Department is set to put up warning signs and fences across the bay to discourage people from taking a dip. The Manila Bay is the latest in the lineup of famous destinations the government has funded for rehabilitation. The bay's cleanup requires a 47 billion pesos or nearly $900 million in budget.
Finally tonight here, America Strong, and the two loyal dogs coming to the rescue when their owner needed them most. Meet Bella and Sadie, two Labradors in St. John's, Florida. Their owner, Maureen Hatcher, was home alone with the dogs when suddenly she felt something was very wrong. She'd fallen, she could not move. It turns out Maureen was having a stroke.
I remember Sadie coming in and I said, Mommy needs help. And then they were gone.
And just watch. This is Maureen's doorbell camera, and you hear Bella and Sadie barking as they race out. Then you see her neighbor, Alexandra Naspolini, who saw the dogs and knew something was wrong.
When I saw the dogs, oops, something has happened. Excuse me.
No answer from inside. Alexandra goes in.
The house was so dark. I was so scared to be inside, but it's like something's wrong.
Inside, she finds Maureen and immediately calls 911. You see the paramedics arrive, wheeling Maureen out just in time before that stroke could do major damage.
I'm blessed, very blessed.
Tonight, Maureen and her neighbor are convinced those loyal Labradors were on a mission.
I do believe they saved her, because if it wasn't them, I don't think she was be here with us.
I grew up with a lab. They are loyal, and we're just glad Maureen is okay tonight. Thanks for watching here on a Wednesday evening. I'm David Muir. I'll have to see you right back here tomorrow. Good night.